What the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar.
Callie, Lawson-Freeman, welcome. I'm not going to talk about Pat McAfee anymore. I was on Brother from Another earlier, and I gave my thoughts on him. So y'all go check that out if you want to know my thoughts to what he had to say in referring to Caitlyn this way. But I do want to know your thoughts on Pat McAfee referring to Caitlyn in this context as one white, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, watching that back, it's still a little bit stunning. Like, I cannot believe that that was allowed to fly. And I completely understand that there are a lot of allowances that are made for Pat McAfee. They're paying him $17 million. They had to lay off a lot of people to make that happen. That's why they have a disclaimer that says, like, hey, whatever happens is not direct representation of ESPN's beliefs, whatever. I genuinely feel that there's got to be some type of action because his apology that he put out is not going to cut it. Like that, I'm sure we'll
apparently
talk about
it does. Apparently it does.
Right.
I don't want to dig into the apology because, I mean, we can, but what I'm saying is the apology was nonsense, right? It wasn't a real apology.
Right.
And
yeah.
I believe, I haven't heard otherwise, he did his show today. So an apology that was half-assed is apparently all that you need to do after you refer to a woman as a bitch and you get to like continue to.
Absurd. So not only are we calling who you are trying to say is the only relevant rookie in the WNBA, a white bitch, we're now also fully putting down a whole class of very exciting players. And I don't get what's the purpose of trying to put all these players down. This has been the largest issue that players are having from my experience as somebody who's like boots on the ground and like it practices and in media press conferences every day and stuff. These players are so tired of that. Like they know what all of everything that they've put into this league, right? The rookies even, like they know their worth. We can talk about Angel Reese coming out and saying, like, I just want y'all to know I'm one of the reasons that y'all are watching me too. You know what I'm saying? She should not have to come out and say that. Why is there some type of attack on that idea? Like, and again, this is so unfortunate that we have to go here, but like, there's a clear motivation. There's a racial motivation here. There's a reason that he decided to refer to her as a white bitch. Then the graphic that he's using that's behind him is only white players in a league that is majority Black. You got Diane Taurasi back there, Brianna Stewart. I mean, Sabrina Ionescu. What is that about? What is the agenda that we're trying to push? And then for that to be the same person who's also going and saying that these players are jealous of Caitlyn and things like that, it's like, why you are the perpetrator of reasons why there would be issues. We can't, whether we say that there are or are not, but it's like, so whatever. But if we have, I shout out to Angel Reese, I think, for pointing that out, and she's going to get a lot of flack for that. I saw a lot of people taking that clip out of context of Angel saying, like, listen, it was one game, that LSU Iowa title game that saw LSU win the title and Angel Reese be the player of the tournament and Iowa lose by double digits. That was the game that really pushed this discussion to the next level. And Angel has been paying for that ever since. And so she's going out now and saying, like, I don't even mind being the villain. I'll be the villain if I have to, because that's what she was positioned to be since that game, which was 2 years ago now. You know what I'm saying? Like that, but there's a reason that she's been positioned in that way. Like, people keep wanting to villainize Black women, and Angel Reese is like the perfect person to do it for people because she's confident, she's unapologetic, like she's like, this is who I am. So to me, it's just like, Pat McAfee, if you're calling the player that you're trying to champion, allegedly a white BITCH, what exactly, what is next? That's why I'm concerned. You're talking about how he's on his show yesterday or whatever. Like, what's next? Because you obviously don't hold these other players, many of them of color, in high regard. So are we to look forward to him potentially calling players black BITCHs next? Like, is that what we're to expect? Is that what ESPN is going to allow? At this point, they have set a precedent of allowing really problematic rhetoric to be,
for sure,
just unleashed.
For sure. I think it's important because I wasn't actually going to play the sound, but I actually want to run the Angel Reese sound really quickly, because you are right in that what her words have been being taken out of context, because people have been playing the clip and not playing the full clip of everything she said. So let's hear exactly what Angel Reese said.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now.
Yeah.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that, because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball that you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and because people, you know, I've been having conversations with multiple people, and when Angel says things like, it's because of me too, or, you know, when she reacted to Charles Barkley, her tweet that got deleted, right? Like, people look at that as her being jealous, and I don't, right? And so, but I realized, because that was an example given to me as, you know, yeah, I mean, that's clear she's jealous. And what I say in response to that is, you just had Pat McAfee saying it's not about anyone else. It's just Caitlin Clark. When we know that the Aces moved their game for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, right? Just as they did for Caitlin Clark. We know that the Mystics moved to a larger arena because of Angel Reese. We know Angel Reese's jersey is sold out. We know that Chicago Sky games have sold out. We know that even if not as large as Caitlin, other arenas have experienced sellouts when Chicago Sky come to town. That was before Camila Cardozo was even on the court with her again, right? Because I don't want to undersell Camila either and what she brings as a player with the South Carolina heritage. And so you just have people saying things that are not incorrect, and you have an unwillingness. You talked about it last week, how when it was announced that they were moving for Caitlin Clark, the Aces were moving to the larger arena, it was in the same announcement. It was known that they were also moving for the Sky, but it wasn't discussed, and no one talked about that and wrote about it. We can't control what people write about, but we can talk about it and bring awareness. And so Angel Reese has to talk about it because people won't talk about it, right? Like the fans had to force the league to play her game, right? The fans had to force the league to play her game because someone used a cell phone stream to stream it because they didn't think that she was in demand. So we know what he's saying is not true. People are not writing about it, so she says it. And when she says it, I don't think she should be vilified for saying it or be called jealous, because she's factually correct. And if the media isn't going to set the record and other people aren't going to set the record, then she has to set the record. And she should be able to say something that's factually correct and it not be, well, it's jealousy. We only have like a couple of minutes left, but I just want to give you the last word on this because, Callie, I just think that people are, and Pat McAfee was a perfect example. They're using Caitlin Clark as a proxy to get out whatever views that they feel about Angel Reese, about the league at whole, about the black players, whatever it is. And Jim Trotter laid this out perfectly in his most recent story. Go check that out. But she's being used as a proxy. Go ahead, last word.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue. Like, and the thing is, it benefits no one. Like, Caitlin Clark is not benefited by that. She is negatively impacted by it. The fact that she is not coming out to say, like, I don't support this narrative, that narrative, like that's her choice. But at the end of the day, it's not helping her because people are seeing all of this stuff. A lot of her fans, and I know I'm going to catch flack for this, are MAGA, Trump supporters, whatever. And so they're using her to further some of those talking points. I mean, that's essentially what Pat's doing. And like, and this is no secret. Like, he has Aaron Rodgers on, they tout MAGA politics and they say anti-vax stuff, and that's their prerogative, I guess. But like, that's now what Caitlin Clark is being used to further some of those ideals. So people who have attacks on diversity, DEIs and stuff like that, like people who are vehemently, just like passionately against diversity in the workplace, Black people in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that sounds like a dramatic thing that I'm saying, but it's not dramatic. Like, there are people who hold really problematic beliefs, and then they go and they use Caitlin as like a shield to just spout those beliefs out and just make it everybody's problem, right? And use her like, oh, like that's why you guys are jealous. It's because you're mad she's white because you're Black, and that's apparently lesser in their belief system. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that is a huge issue. And like, this is what I'm saying. Pat McAfee, like, I hate that this is going unchecked, because ESPN is supposed to be the worldwide leader, right? They're supposed to set the standard for sports journalism. And I know that Pat McAfee will always say he's not a journalist or whatever, but he is on the most watched sports network.
It's unacceptable.
It's terrible.
It's unacceptable. So we're not going to give Pat McAfee any more energy. I appreciate you, Callie, for joining me. We're going to be talking more about this. So we will revisit this topic over and over because it's not going to stop. But thank you for joining me to talk about this. Y'all, let's get us to a point where we can just get back to talking about basketball, please. Like, stop being so weird about Caitlin Clark. Like, let's be normal, discuss her as a regular basketball player so we can talk about the hoops on the court.